Hello everyone, welcome to another video. This time I'm going to be reviewing this little beauty, the Mini One. This is a 1.2 5-door automatic. It's a 2014 model and it's got 109,000 miles. Yes, so many miles, but it's been well looked after. You wouldn't know it by the looks of it, but shall we have a little gander at it and see how it's like? Let's go for it. So here I have the 2014, as I've said. This is the facelift. The original Mini came out in 2001, late 2001 in the UK, and the main difference between that and this one, quite clearly, it's got 5 doors, which the original Mini didn't. It had only 3, and then the bug eyes lights here are a little bit bigger, and they've got some nice fancy chrome surrounds to them, and of course the grille is that little bit more pronounced. Otherwise it's pretty much the same as the original, bar the looks wise, that is, bar the extra doors here. And of course you got slightly updated rear lights. It's in keeping with the original anyway. And of course the 2017-2018 models get the rear lights that have the Union flag as the rear to it, so it looks really nice. And if you wanted so, you can actually take these lights out and put those in as a retrofit quite easily. Now how does it look? It's got that retro chic about it, hasn't it, really? It's one of those timeless designs that does not age, and BMW have done very well in the subtle cosmetic changes to the original, just to keep the Mini up to date and chic as possible, and I think they've done very well. I mean, personally, is it a sort of car that I'd go for and like the looks of? Not really, it's not my style. But for those looking for a retro chic, other than the Fiat 500, you can't really go much wrong than this. This one I would choose over the 500 because it just feels that little bit more grown up. The interior quality, as I'll show you, is that little bit better, and it just looks a little bit more sophisticated. So you can go to Mayfair and not look out of place amongst all those very filthy rich people, or you can just pop down to Lidl and still look as part of the common people, common class. So it's a car for all classes, if ever there was one. So yeah, in that respect it's very good. Aerodynamically it's not so good. So very bolt upright front windscreen there, not great for aerodynamics, but you need it for the design aspect. And of course what that does do is give you better headroom. Otherwise, design wise, lovely jubbly. Shall we have a look at the interior? I think this is where the Mini beats the other small cars hands down in terms of just the lovely design of the interior. Look how even the interior lights buttons are designed. It's as if you're in an aircraft, those ones. And I love the central dial. This being the Mini One is the basic spec, so as you can see it's got the basic screen on there, which just literally for your stereo and auxiliary display. That's about it. You can get those with a bigger screen that fills up all of this. So where you see the buttons there, the screen goes all the way down to there, and you get the sat nav, etc. But you know, we more or less use our Google Maps these days, don't we? So if you were looking at these and you're on a budget, I wouldn't, worry too much about whether it's there. If it's there, fantastic. If you can get the Mini Cooper, okay, you get the upgrade, but I wouldn't say it's a deal breaker. And of course you got the lovely stop start button there, and then the digital dials for the dual zone climate control. These seats are nice and comfy. For a small car, of course the base isn't going to be that long, but they are very comfortable. They're some of the most comfortable seats in the small car class that I found, to be fair. In terms of space, of course this isn't the strong point of the Mini. So when you're in here, it is very cozy. I mean, look, I'm 5'6" and quite close to my knees are quite close to the glove box there, but I'm very comfortable. Headroom's good, but this is not for the 6-footers, I can tell you. Look at this, a little hidden compartment there. That's nice, isn't it? But yes, this isn't for the 6-footers out there. But if you're up to, I'll say, 5'8", you'll sit here really comfortably and find your ideal driving position. It's nice and cozy and very narrow, and as you can see from the design, you're very close to the windscreen, so it makes it feel like you're a throwback to the 1950s original Mini. So in terms of staying true to that, to its origins, it hasn't gone far wrong. For me, I just don't like getting too close to the windscreen, so it's not my cup of tea. But if you want something that feels like a go-kart, that feeling of a go-kart, etc., this definitely does it for you. Look at that. And the quality is fantastic. Obviously this is part of the BMW group, but they use really high quality materials, and this is why I say if you want one of those retro cars and you're choosing between this and the Fiat 500, this wins hands down. The overall quality of materials, etc., from BMW is just exquisite. It's really nice, soft touch plastics. Of course, all these buttons feel really nice and solid. Look, there's a nice feel to them. This car has done 109,000 miles, and look, okay, it depends on the owner looking after it, but you can see that because of the quality of the buttons, etc., and the quality of the materials used, it's worn very, very well, and it still looks fresh to this day. It's one of those lovely designs, and I really like this grey finish here that just breaks everything up a little bit. So design wise, I think it's wonderful. Shall we have a look? I just banged my knee just then. See what I mean about the lack of space? Just got to be careful. Okay, so if you had the 3-door Mini, oh my goodness, you will feel the difference in terms of practicality having this rear door. And so if you wanted this lovely chic Mini, but it was the problem of getting the baby seats in, that problem is solved with this 5-door. And if you're getting it, that's why I would advise you to get this 5-door. But strictly, it is 2 people. I mean, there is a lap belt for the middle, but oh my goodness, who'd want to sit on that? Ooh, I don't know. Unless you're Victoria Beckham, I'm not sure you'll fit there. Otherwise, your backside's going to be aching and won't thank you for it. But really, only 2 people should sit here in the back. And Mini have kind of given you a hint by plonking the cup holder right where you'd be sitting there. So it's a kind of hint that don't go sitting here, even though they have put a 3rd headrest on there. Just don't, honestly, unless you've got a good chiropractor or something like that. But anyway, that aside, the 2 people that sit here, these seats are so nice and comfortable. They're nice and wide, and for a small car, the bolsters go out really far. That design really helps with the under thigh support. So shall I just quickly pop in? Let's see. Look at that. I sit in quite easily. Got good knee room there. Headroom is really good. So that slab design at the top there really helps with the headroom. So I've got plenty of space. So anyone who's like 6 foot will get in there just. But like I say, it's a very narrow car, so you don't want burly adults in the back. And as I've said many times again before, all these people that say, oh, you know, you can't get 3 adults in it. These small cars are not meant to have 3 adults in the back. What normally happens is mums or dads have their little kiddies in the back. So kiddies, you are going to love it here because, look, nice windows there. I know they look small, but because they're quite low down and square, you get plenty of light coming in. And so the kids won't feel sick, and they've got a nice view out, and they'll be really comfortable. And then these doors, they don't open out that wide, but there's enough to get the baby seats in quite easily. So you get your 2 kiddies in there, no problem. So if you're a family that's going to have kids in the back, don't worry about the practicality. It's got plenty of room all round. And for adults, I would say adults up to 5'8" should fit in here nice and comfortably. So let's go for a drive, shall we? So she picks up really well. You would not think you're driving a 1.2, so it's really nice and peppy, keeps up with traffic really nicely. On motorways you'll have no problems whatsoever, and from 50 to 70 it picks up really well. So if you want to overtake, don't worry about it. It's got enough poke to it to do that. Downsides, there's a little bit of road noise coming through into the cabin. That's a combination of various things. The slab-sided nature of the windscreen here, but that's just a design aspect. So unfortunately it is what it is. The big mirrors give really good visibility. Unfortunately, because of their size, you get even more wind noise coming through. And of course, on this model, I've got the slightly bigger alloy wheels, which transmit more noise. So if you want a little bit less noise, the only thing you can really do is get the alloys that are a bit smaller with the higher profile tires, but then it doesn't look as nice or appealing. And the whole point of the Mini is it's the appeal factor, isn't it? So but it is what it is. It's one of those sacrifices, but it's not too bad, to be honest. I'm just obviously, for the purposes of the review, mentioning it. For me, it's perfectly fine. For a small car, this is the sort of road noise you can expect. If you don't want that sort of road noise, get a bigger car with more insulation. That's the simple solution to it. Otherwise, this is a fantastic little driver. It is set up for sporty pretensions, and it ticks that box nicely. It's got good visibility all around. For me personally, I don't like being this close to the windscreen, but it is what it is. And also, it's really nice sat in here. The seats are nice and more comfortable than I expected. The steering, being from the BMW group, the steering is really nice and direct, and it's taut, so when you steer, you got really good feel about which direction the car's going in. It's not woolly like a lot of the Japanese cars, for example. And to that extent, if you're used to the Japanese cars, the steering does feel a bit heavy compared to them, but you need that. This one has that. If you want that directness of feeling, etc., the weighting on the steering is a little bit heavier, but I think it is absolutely perfect. So this is just bang on how I like my cars to steer. So in that dynamics, it's fantastic for me. And but yeah, otherwise, fantastic little driver, keeps up with traffic. What more can I say? It's a lovely, lovely drive. Final review coming up. So there you have it. What a lovely car. So pokey. Much more pokier than I expected, to be fair, but then again, it is a twin turbo 1.2, so there you have it. So which one should you go for? You definitely have to go for this 5-door version. It's the one that holds its value the most. And in terms of reliability, to be fair, these cars are pretty reliable. It's the early models that had quite a few electrical glitches, and they had problems with the timing chains, etc. But there's a reason why I've got this 2014 model, because from 2014, these facelifted models, what they did was they sorted most of those problems out, so you shouldn't have the timing chain issues, etc., and those electrical glitches that affected the earlier models. That's not to say these aren't without their problems. There are people that report electrical problems still, but they're few and far between, and also turbo issues. But the people that have been complaining about the turbos, what you got to realize is turbo is a item that will wear eventually. So whatever car you've got, you're going to have to change that at a certain point. So that doesn't mean there's a deficiency in the car, it's just wear and tear. And one of those days in the car life of this car, you're going to have to change that part. So it's not really a reliability issue as such. So in terms of getting a small premium car and it being reliable, this car is it. Servicing is not so bad, so I had a major service done on this car, and I booked it online through BMW Direct, and it cost me about £380 to get the major service, including spark plugs, etc., done on the car. Please, if you do book with BMW, book it online, because if I went to Stephen James directly and booked at the dealership, do you know how much they were quoting? £575. Crazy, I know. So make sure you book it online. Otherwise, parts, prices, not so bad. Like I said, it's reliable. Which one should you go for? So I've got this, the Mini one, and obviously the previous owners ticked a few extra options, like the alloy wheels upgraded there, and some bits and pieces inside. But really, if you can get the Mini Cooper and it's within your budget, get that one. That's the one that holds its value the most. If not, opt for this one. It's perfectly good. Get the Mini one with the alloy wheels and 5 doors. They hold their value, they're desirable, and make sure it's got good service history. Service history and maintenance are key to these cars. If they've not been looked after and they've been ragged, they will give you problems, I can assure you. Other than that, is this the car to go for if you're looking for an executive small car? Well, I don't know what else can beat it, really, for the money and also the kudos that you get from it. It's a cute little car, drives fantastic, and of course the running gears from BMW, the interior quality is amazing. and it wipes the floor with the Fiat 500, better than the Polo. And on the second-hand market, it's more or less the same price as those two cars. So really, this offers the best of both worlds. So if you're after an executive small car, this one's the one. Okay, hope you like and subscribe. See you on the next one. Bye bye everyone.